So, as we all are aware, Narayanam is a text which is composed by a person called Melpattur Narayana Bhattatri, who was suffering from a very grave illness, Vatarogam, and it is said that he had got this illness from his guru, and in order to free himself from this illness, he comes to the temple of Guruvayur, and there someone tells him that a person called Elthachan, he comes and tells him that you start with the fish. That's when Bhattatri thinks, what is this? How can I even, the few followers or few people who are there along with Bhattatri, they wonder, thinking that how can someone come and tell that you start with the fish? Does he mean that you have to consume something related to the fish also, like fish oils and so on that are there? But then Bhattatri was very quick to catch up this, and he understands that starting with the fish meaning starting with Matsyavataram that is there. So that's when Bhattatri decides that I will keep the Srimad Bhagavatam as my base text and start composing this Narayanam. So in the Narayanam text that is there, glory of Bhagavan in 100 dashakams. Dashakams itself means 10 shlokas. Few shlokas, it is few up and down, it can be 12, 15 also. So roughly about 1036 or 37 shlokas, you have the entire Narayanam that is composed. So the condensation of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is 18,000 shlokas, that is Narayanam in the form of this approx 1036 shlokas that are there. So every day one dashakam, Bhattatri ends up starts composing, and why it is a very very divine text is Bhagavan himself, the Lord of Guruvayur in Guruvayurappan that is there in Guruvayur, he gives his assurance every day to Bhattatri. So every day Bhattatri used to compose one dashakam, Bhagavan used to give a nod from inside as if I have approved what you have done. So therefore this text is one level more divine because Bhagavan had given an approval in every step of composition. So on the 28th day of the Vrishchika Masam, which is today, the Malayalam month of Vrishchika, on this day, the 100th Dashakam was composed by Bhattatri, which we popularly celebrate as Narayanam Day. There would have been many Parayanams here and round. Also, even in our houses also we do chant Narayanam, some kind of Nevidyam is offered. Some people have the habit of chanting the entire Narayanam this day, some people do mini Narayanam. So all kinds of things are done on this day. Also, those who are not familiar with Narayanam or those who want to take a Sankalpa again, you can start again the Parayanam of Narayanam. If you have not yet got a chance to learn Narayanam, from today you can definitely start learning this divine text as if the grace of Bhagavan only is there on each one of us. That's the reason we have all come here today, right? So, moreover, whenever we have learnt this text or we are about to start learning this text, always consider it to be a blessing of Krishna himself, who wishes, who wants all of us to chant this divine text that is there of Narayanam. So even if there is anyone who is not familiar with Narayanam, you can Google it down, you can get a book for yourself, you can start listening to the audios and learn this text. It is very very auspicious. And today, if you are hearing about Narayanam, you might be familiar, you might not be familiar. If today you are hearing about this, it is the grace or it is a message from Lord Krishna, from Lord Guruvayurappan himself that you must start learning this text. Yeah. Now, many people have got many experiences with regards to this text. Some are freed from health issues, some are freed from all kinds of worries. So let's not just simply get into the Palashruti part. It's not that I need something so I should learn the text, but a very very divine text that is there, and also each one of us we have our own personal experiences with regards to this text. Yep. So this is Narayanam, which talks about the glory of Bhagavan. So Bhattatri keeps the Srimad Bhagavatam as his base text. Pidambaram Karavirajita Shankachakra Kaumodaki Sarasijam Karuna Samudram Radha Sahayamati Sundaramandahasam Vatanayesha Manisham Ridibhavayami. Shri Bhattatri Stuti. सर्वपीडानिवृत्त्यर्थं भक्तेरुत्पत्तिवृद्धये नारायणीयं सर्वस्वं दत्तं विष्णुस्तवं प्रियं येन नारायणाख्येन भूसुरश्रेष्ठयोगिना तं नमामि कृपापूर्णं विष्णुप्रीत्यै पुनः पुनः काव्यमाद्यं रामायणं सीतारामकथामृतं तत्र चूडामणिर्भाति सुन्दरः सुन्दराख्यया तापापहरणे ख्यातः मारुतेर्भक्तिवैभवां सुन्दरं कुरु मे धीरं चित्तं रामस्मिताभया. Now, Bhatta starts with these Dhyana shlokas. This is also Bhatta Stuti. Finally, he starts with Dashakam 1. Dashakam 1 that is there talks about Bhagavataha Swarupam Mahatmyam Cha, meaning the form of the Lord. Now, before we start with anything, we must know, right? You go to a temple also, or you are worshipping the Lord in your own house, you need an image, or you need an idol in front of you. Only then we can do. When I say Narayaneeyam or when I say Krishna, Rama, Devi, Ganesha, whatever it is, automatically a picture comes to our mind, right? When I say Krishna, automatically you might have someone with a flute in your hand, Pitambaram and so on. Rama with a bow and arrow in his hand. Ganesha, his picture comes to our mind. So we need some picture, that is some Swarupam is very much needed. That doesn't mean that only the Lord is found in a Swarupam, in a physical form also. The Bhagavan is omniscient, omnipresent, but still we need a Swarupam that is there. So the greatness of the Lord's Swarupam, that is only described in Dashakam 1, which Bhatta begins. And Dashakam 1 is like a gist, or you can say summary of Skanda 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Shloka 1 itself, Sandranandavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadebhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurupurushartatmakam brahmatattvam tatavadbhati sakshat gurupavanapure hantabhagyam janana. Here Bhattatri cries out to the Lord saying that Hantabhagyam Janana, meaning it is great luck and it is your grace only, O Lord, that in this holy land of Guruvayur, devotees like us have come here and you are the one who is showering his grace on us. So this place that is there, or this form of yours, is something which cannot be praised at all, and we just want to see you again and again. Hantabhagyam Janana is nothing but our own good fortune that is there. So the entire Dashakam that is now Bhatta, one speciality of Bhatta is in every shloka, in all these 1000 plus shlokas, last line that is there, he prays to Bhagavan saying that free me of my ailments, free me of my disease that is there. Now here few of us we feel that there is a selfish motive behind this. We should not call it as a selfish motive, because the main purpose of even composing this text of Narayaniyam is to get away, is to be freed from the grave disease that Bhatta was suffering from. So that is a prayer, and moreover here Bhatta has written this entire text of Narayaniyam as first person. That is, he is directly addressing to Guruvayurappan. So when we also read this text, it is as if a prayer which is made by one to Bhagavan himself. Yeah. So it is, everything is there in first person, as if I am talking directly to the Lord. So free me of my ailments, free me of my disease. It doesn't mean only Vatarogam of Bhatta. Free me from all kinds of worries, difficulties that are coming in. So further, Dashakam 1, Bhatta continues describing the form of Bhagavan and says that, O Lord of Guruvayur, your Sattvam that is there. Now, all of us, we have something called Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, right? Sattva is all goodness. Rajas, like a tit for tat mentality. You are good to me, I am good to you. You are evil to me, I am evil to you. So that is also a little balanced, right? Tamo Gunam is Asuric qualities. Even if someone does not cause me trouble, I will go and cause trouble to that person. All of us have both, all these three qualities. Depending on the situation, we keep changing. Maybe now, Sattva Gunam is at its peak. Maybe you are listening to Narayaniyam and so on. So everything is positive and happy around. But say for example, someone in between comes and pinches you, or someone in between comes and hits you, immediately you give a reaction, you might hit the person back. Rajo Gunam comes in. He hit me, I hit him back. Without reason, maybe say after this session of Narayaniyam is over, you go and start arguing with a person, or so you go and start shouting at a person, maybe without reason. Maybe there is some misunderstanding, miscommunication. Tamo Gunam comes in. So this is how differentiation is made. But Bhatta says, O Lord of Guruvayur, you are only Sattva that is personified, and we are the ones who want to know more about this Sattva nature that is there. Further in Dashakam 2, Now we know the greatness or Mahima of Bhagavan, saying that he is only all Sattva Gunam. One who prays to him, he will come and fulfill all their wishes. You will ensure that moksham is granted to them. You will free your devotees from all kinds of troubles. Now all this is there. But now we must know the actual form of Bhagavan. Rupa Madhuryam Bhakti Mahatvam Cha. We know that the significance of the Lord, significance of the Supreme. We must know the form. Suryaspardi Kiritam Urdhvatilaka. Dashakam 2 starts. Surya Spardhi, the crown itself of Bhagavan, Kiritam, the crown of Bhagavan is as if sun's rays are shining. So how the sun shines so brightly, in a similar manner the Kiritam of Bhagavan also shines. So entire Dashakam 2 talks about the physical form of Bhagavan, how his earrings are, how his crown is, how his Kiritam is, how his Kundalam is, how his Pitambaram is, and so on. The Kaustubha that is there shines. You have the Shankar Chakra Gada Kamalam. You have a Pitambaram that is tied in. And this form of the Lord is something which is sweeter than the sweetest. Bhattatri says, Dashakam 2, Shloka number 3. Saundaryotaratopi sundarataram twadrupamaschariyatopi. Something very, very wonderful and surprising. Aschariyam bhuvane nakasya kutukam pushnati vishno vibho. And Goddess Mahalakshmi also, why Goddess Mahalakshmi does not stay with others much? She is Chanchala, right? The reason being, she does not wish to leave you at all. Lakshmi Stavakaramaniya Karatai. Shloka number 5, Dashakam 2. So therefore here Bhattatri in Dashakam 2 talks about the physical form of the Lord. Dashakam 3 starts with Bhakti Prarthana. Now I know the significance of the Supreme. I know how the form of the Lord is. But if I have to worship the Supreme form, I must have Bhakti. I must have devotion. Right? Otherwise everything is useless. I might know everything in the world, but if that bhakti or devotion is not there, nothing works out, right? Patanto namani pramadavara nipatitaha. How should I start showing my bhakti? Patanto namani, by chanting your names alone, by traveling in places where your glories are being sung. And, O Lord, here Bhattatri says, Gadaklishtam kashtam. I am a person who is drowned in sorrow. But even in this time also, my mind should always move towards you. I must always meditate on your Charana Kamalam. And Aham Gayam Gayam. I should always keep singing your glories that is there. So like this, Dashakam 3 entirely talks about Bhakti Prarthana. And Shloka number 7, Dashakam 3 is very, very important shloka. Vidhuya kleshan me kuru charana yugmam dhritarasam bhave kshetra praptau karamapi chate pujana vidau bhavan murtya loke nayana matate padatulasi parigrane granam shravanam te charucharite. Now here Bhattatri says, why even I am praying to you to cure me of all my illnesses is so that my padam, that is there, my feet, should always come bhavayet kshetra praptau, should always come and visit your temples. Karamapi, my hands should become proper so that I can do worship to you. Pujana vidau. Bhavan murtyaloke nayanam. If you bless me with good eyesight also, I should always be able to see your murti in front of me, your form in front of me. Pada tulasi parigrane granam. You bless me with good oratory sense, with a good nose, good smelling power, so that the tulasi which is offered on your charana kamalam, I should be able to smell that also. Shravanam apite charucharite. My ears should be strong enough, Shravanam, so that charucharite, all the charitam, all your stories, I should be able to listen always. So with this, here Bhattatri concludes Dashakam 3 by saying that if you bless me with all this, at this point, Dashakam 3, towards the end of Dashakam 3, Bhattatri makes a statement saying that I am very much tired. He says, why tired? By composing just 3 Dashakams. He says, what is the point of talking all this? I talked about your Mahima in Dashakam 1. I talked about your form in Dashakam 2. I talked about Bhakti Prarthana in Dashakam 3. But Kimuktairboyo bestavahi karuna yavadudiyat aham tavad deva. What is the point of simply talking like this? I'll stop all complaints now. I'll not always just keep telling you this is happening, that is happening, my body is paining. I'll not describe my problems in front of you, maybe that alone is not enough to please you. Little I'll get on the philosophical path. So here Bhattacharya, like you and me, he also feels a bit he is about to give up, and at that time he feels that what I will do is, here you feel I'm just begging in front of you. It's not that way. I know even other aspects. So that's when Dashakam 4 onwards he talks about the Ashtanga Yoga Paddhati. He gets a bit philosophical. Ashtanga Yoga is nothing but the 8 limbs yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, it is the biggest chapter in entire Narayaniyam, that is there, about 15 shlokas, wherein in order to reach Bhagavan, Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Samadhi. Even simply maybe by showing bhakti, chanting your namas or so, maybe if I cannot attain your grace, I am even familiar with the Ashtanga Yoga Paddhati, Bhattacharya says. So wherein strict physical practices that are there, dharana, meaning to have a control on oneself, meditation, samadhi and so on. So Bhattacharya says I can do even that if you want. So that entire description is given in Dashakam 4. Dashakam 5, wherein Bhattacharya says in Dashakam 5, Virata Purusha. Now, he says, I can even imagine about your form after Pralaya Kalam. Pralaya Kalam is when the world comes to an end, everything merges with nature. At that time, Bhagavan appears again in the form of Virata Purusha. Virata Purusha is that ultimate form of Bhagavan. You would have always seen a picture of Virata Purusha. We also worship the Lord in Virata Purusha, is special in the form of Virata in specific months of the year, right? Especially during this Dhanurmasam, the Margai Masam which is to start now, or the Margashish month which has been started for few of you. There you will see that the Virat Purusha form of Bhagavan is chanted. That's why you have the Purushottama Yoga, the 15th chapter of the Gita, which is chanted during this month. So how this Virata Purusha was born, that is described in chapter 5. Chapter 6 he says Virat Swarupam. I can also tell you the description of Virata Purusha. One, the Lord who has taken the form of 14 worlds. What are the 14 worlds? Bhulokam, earth, Narakam and Swargam. But Narakam is not just one, it has got 7 hell we have and 7 heavens. Patala, Rasatala, Sutala, Vitala, Talatala and so on. Swargalokam is again Brahmalokam, Swargalokam, Indralokam and so on. So everywhere, so every loka, it seems that it represents Bhagavan, saying that the neck of the Lord is Maharlokam, face is Janalokam, forehead is Tapolokam and so on. Now today we don't have time, we have to just look at the gist of every dashakam, so I am not getting much into detail. But every part of Bhagavan, like the eyes of Bhagavan are the sun, the eyelashes of the Lord are day and night. Like this, the entire description is given in Dashakam 6. Dashakam 7 now starts, wherein now Brahmanaha tapaha Vaikunta darshanam cha. Brahma is born out of the Nabhikamalam of Vishnu, and that's when he sees Vaikuntam and the Lord of Vaikuntam, that is Lord Narayana. Now Brahma, he was the creator, he made a lot of attempts for creation but he could not do so. That's when he becomes very sad, and Vishnu at that time gives an idea to Brahma saying that do tapas, and that's when Brahmanaha tapaha. Brahma does tapasya, he is born out of the Suvarna Andam, that is out of the golden egg as we believe, and that's how he starts the process. He actually sees Vaikuntam, and further Dashakam 8 you have Pralaya Kalam, wherein the world comes to an end also and a new creation starts in. And in the first Brahma Kalpam that is there, Brahma, he has got his birth, all the 4 Vedas have come in, and finally the process of creation has been started by Brahma. Out of Nabhikamalam, Brahma is born in Dashakam 8. Dashakam 9, Brahmanaha tapaha bhuvana nirmitihi cha. Now what happens is, Brahma's tapasya has become successful. Bhuvana nirmitihi, he starts creating this entire earth that is there. All the creatures have been created, everything has happened. Now he initiates the process of creation that is described in Dashakam 9. Now it seems that Brahma, when he comes out of the Nabhikamalam is nothing but lotus, right? Lotus has got a stalk beneath it. When he goes down, there is only water. That's when again Brahma comes up, he sees the world around and starts the process of creation. Dashakam 10, Srishti Bhedaha. Now, simply creating the world is not alone enough, right? There should be some differences that are there. Now say for example, if there is just land everywhere, there is nothing, it becomes very difficult, right? Or if there are only human beings, there are no other creatures or so, no other facilities that are there, human beings cannot survive, right? So that's the reason you need something called Srishti Bhedaha. Srishti Bhedas, there is a lot of variety in the creations. Plants were created. Then you also had various emotions that were being created: egoism, attachment, anger, and so on. Now here a question comes, why did the Lord even create these negative qualities that are there? Now, to have a proper balance in life, you need both, right? Say for example, Sukha Dukkha Samaha, as Krishna highlights in the Gita. If there is only Sukham and happiness always, we will not value that, right? Whenever some Dukkham or a trouble comes, at that time, human beings value Sukham or good things that are there. But if everything around is just happy, or so everything around a person is getting easily, then there is no use at all. So that's the reason here Bhagavan, what he says is, this Srishti Vedaha, when Brahma starts the process of creation, he also focuses on these qualities. Yeah. Further, Dashakam 11 that is there talks about, now the first 10 Dashakams, what exactly is the Lord, the form of the Lord, Bhakti Prarthana, various forms to attain the Lord. Further, how Srishti Nirmanam is done, Srishti Veda is done, we have seen. Now slowly Bhattatri steps into the various avatars of the Lord, how the Lord comes and defeats various Rakshasas, Paritranaya Sadhuna, Vinashaya cha Dushkatam, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So now Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu both are born. Dashakam 11. Both Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupala, Dantavaktra, they are actually forms of Jaya Vijaya, who are the attendants in Vaikuntham. They stop the Sanakadi Rishis in Vaikuntham. That's how they get a curse to be born in Bhulokam as Rakshasas. But in every Janma, they get a boon saying that Vishnu himself will take an avatara, put an end to them, and that's how they will return back to Vaikuntham. Dashakam 12, the first avataram of Narayanam, Varaha avataram. The form, Bhagavan takes the form of Varaha, the boar, and rescues Prithvi Devi from Narakam. Hiranyaksha Vadaha, Dashakam 13, Hiranyaksha is killed, Varaha avataram, Hiranyaksha is killed. Hiranyaksham tavad varada bhavadan veshanaparam. Dashakam 14, 15, you have Kapila avataram and Kapila Upakhyanam. Kapila avataram, one of the important Dashakams. Kapila avataram 14 and 15 usually is always chanted together only. So you have the story of Kardama, and Kapila avataram is like a minor incarnation of Bhagavan also. And Kapila Upadesham is Dashakam 15, wherein Kapila Muni gives Upadesham of Sankhya Yoga to his mother Devahuti. This usually comes in the third skandam of Sri Bhagavatam, Skanda 3 of Bhagavatam, and every shloka in this Dashakam 15 is said to be a gist or summary of one chapter in that entire Skandam 3, it seems. And that's the reason the last line of this Dashakam, Kapilata Nuriditvam Devahutyai Nyagadihi, wherein the Lord gives the Upadesham of Sankhya Yoga to his mother Devahuti. That's the reason this line gets repeated, Kapila Tanurititvam Devahutyai Nyagadihi. Dashakam 16, Naranarayana avataram. Naraha form of Arjuna, Narayana, Bhagavan Krishna himself. Naranarayana avataram, even today also it is believed that in Badrikashramam you have Naranarayana who are doing tapasya, it seems. Uddhava also has gone to Badrikashramam. We have Balarama who goes to Badrikashrama Yatra. Dashakam 16 also talks about Dakshayagam, the sacrifice done by Daksha, where Sati Devi was insulted. That's how Shiva does the Tandavam and so on. We know the story behind it. Now if you see, here why Bhattatri, for the first time he combines two topics that are there, Dakshayagam and Naranarayana avataram. Simple reason for this, 80,000 shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam, he has to condense down into about 1,000 plus shlokas of Narayanyam. That's the reason he combines 2 or 3 topics together in certain Dashakams. Dashakam 17, Dhruva Charitam. We know the small boy, Dhruva, who was not allowed to sit on his father's lap. That's when, as told by his mother and Narada Muni, he goes to the forest to do tapasya on Bhagavan, and Bhagavan grants him the most supreme place, that is the Dhruvatara, the pole star in the sky. But the significance of Dhruva Charitam is wherein, though that small 5-year-old boy gets the highest place, still Bhagavan tells him that you should not run away from your duties. You are born as a Kshatriya, return back to your kingdom, rule for many years, ensure that your kingdom is secure, go on the path of Grihastha Ashramam, ensure that the next king is placed on the throne, then you can go to the forest and attain your Paddhati. So even for people like you and me who sometimes give up on life or feel that, oh, life is being too tough and we need to run from our duties, we cannot do that. Even the supreme most devotee like Dhruva, though he was granted the highest boon by Bhagavan to get the supreme location in the sky, still he is also sent back by the Lord saying that you cannot run from your duties, go back, complete your duties, and then only you can get your Paddhati. You can get your Padavi, that is there. So Dhruva Charitam also highlights the importance of not running away from one's duties. 18. Prithu Chakravarti Charitam. Prithu Chakravarti, from whom Prithu Maharaja, we have again an avatar of Bhagavan. That's how earth gets the name of Prithvi, the daughter of Prithu, Prithvi. Dashakam 19 talks about Prachetasa Katha. Prachetas they were a group of princes who were there. They were also born in the clan of Prathu. That's how they get the name of Prachetas. The story of Prachina Barhi is also there here. Prachina Barhi and his wife Shatadruti, together for them Prachetas, they were all born. And these 10 Prachetas who are there, what they do is they do penance, it seems, and even a Rudra Geetam was taught to them. So Lord Shiva actually teaches the Rudra Geetam to this 10 sons of Prachinamari. They are Prachetas. Further, Dashakam 20, Rishabha Yogeshwara Charitam. Rishabhadeva, again an avatar of Bhagavan Vishnu. And here, this Dashakam also talks about the division of earth into several parts that is there. So that also is described in this Dashakam. Further, you have the story of King Bharata, after whom our country gets the name Bharata. So this Dashakam that is there, in this Dashakam what happens is, last shloka of Dashakam 20, you also have the reference of a place called Kotakachalam. Kotakachalam is somewhere Shayuvradam go Mrigaka Kachariyam Chirancharan Napyaparam Swarupam Davaritanga Kotakachaletvam. Kotakachalam, when we say, that is a place where Bhagavan merges with the forest fire that is near the Mukambika temple, Kollur Mukambika temple in Karnataka. And finally, O Lord of Guruvayur, Tapan Mamapa Kurvatanatha. Dashakam 21 talks about Navavarshani Saptadvipadaya cha. So the geography of entire Bhulokam of that time is described here. And you have various lokas that are there, like we have today various continents. Similarly, in those times, how the mountains were there, how the Mandara Parvatam was there. So all that is described here. You have various islands called Plaksha, Shalmala, Krusha, Krauncha and so on. Pushkara. There, the Lord had the form of a sun, it seems, in the Plaksha island, moon in Salmala island, fire in Krusha island and so on. All this comes in shloka number 10 of Dashakam 21. Plaksher karupamai Shalmala indurupam Dvipe bhajanti kushanamani vanhi rupam. Vanhi fire. Kraunche burupamata vayumayam cha shake Tvam brahma rupamai pushkaranam nilokaha. Dashakam 22, Ajamila Moksham. Ajamila is granted moksha. Ajamila was born as a very good person, but like you and me, he gets distracted, goes on the wrong path. But due to his good karma that is there, towards the end of his life, he ends up calling out to his son, who was named as Narayana. But Lord considers that also as bhakti and gives him a place in Vaikuntham. Now this doesn't mean that towards the last days of my life, I'll call out the Lord's name and get moksha. For that to happen all through your life, you must keep chanting the namas of the Lord. Only then that will happen. In the case of Ajamila also, he had done definitely good karma. That's the reason in his last days also he could call out to Narayana. So all the prayers, however small it might be, everything has got a phalan, that is said. Dashakam 23, Daksha Charitam continues the story of Daksha. Chitraketu Upakhyanam cha. Here you have the story of the Maruts who are there, the 49 Maruts, the story of Daksha, and you also have the story of Chitraketu. Chitraketu was again a great king. His story is also described here. And this Dashakam 23 is also very auspicious because it has got the reference of Narayana Kavacham. Narayana Kavacham, a very popular shloka which comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. I think few of you might already be familiar with that. Narayana Kavacham is a shloka which is chanted to protect every part of our body, like a Kavacham armor or so. Dashakam 24-25, Prahlada Charitam, story of Prahlada, how his father does what not. Hiranyakashipu does what not, throws him from a mountain, tries to burn him into fire, causes a lot of trouble, tells him that you should not chant Vishnave Namaha, chant Hiranyakashipave Namaha. But still the boy does not listen. In fact, he persuades his father also to worship Vishnu, but that does not happen. Finally, Hiranyakashipu questions that in this pillar that is there, is Bhagavan there? That's when Vishnu, in order to ensure that the bhakti of that boy is not false, he comes in that pillar in the form of Narasimha Murti, half man, half lion, because Hiranyakashipu had taken a boon that a man should not kill me, an animal should not kill me, no creature should kill me, not in the morning, not in the evening, not on land, not on heaven, not with any weapon and so on. Keeping all these things in mind, Narasimha Bhagavan comes there, half man, half lion, comes out through a pillar, kills him with his nails, which are actually not a weapon as such, comes during the horizon time, evening time, not morning, not in night. So, Dashakam 24, Prahlada Charitam 25, Narasimha Avataram. Dashakam 26, Gajendra Moksham, how Bhagavan secures or saves the life of a great elephant Gajendra who was in trouble when the crocodile comes and holds his feet. So this shows that how Bhagavan, if called out. Now this Gajendra was a king called Indradyumna in his previous birth. But he had got a boon, he had got a curse, that's how he was born as an elephant. But he had a boon that he can remember the bhakti which he had in his previous janma as a king. That's the reason when he was in trouble, Gajendra calls out to the Lord. Bhagavan rushes, being a Karuna Murti, he rushes to help his devotee Gajendra and frees him from the clutches of that crocodile. Gajendra Moksham, very very auspicious to chant this Dashakam every day. Dashakam 27, Ksheerabdi Mathanam Kurma Avataram, churning of the ocean, and Bhagavan's avataram is Kurma in order to balance the Mandara Parvatam when both the Devas and the Asuras were churning the ocean. Dashakam 28, Mahalakshmi Swayamvaram, Mahalakshmi Devi comes out of the ocean and Vishnu accepts her, places her on his Vakshastanam. That's how both Lakshmi Narayana Vivaham takes place. Finally, Dhanvantari Bhagavan also brings out Amritam, that is there. Mohini Avataram also is a part of Dashakam 28-29. Dashakam 29, Amrita Aharanam. The Asuras, they run away with the Amritam and all the Asuras are being killed. Mohini Devi very smartly distributes the Amritam amongst the gods and avoids the Asuras. Dashakam 30, Vamanavataram. Bhagavan comes in the form of a small Vatuhu. Here he does not kill any Asura or so, but kills the Asura in the form of pride, which was there in Bali Maharaja. Bali Maharaja feels that I can conquer everything. But when Bhagavan in the form of Vamana asks for 3 pieces of land, one on land, one on Trivikrama Rupa, one in the heaven, the entire earth is covered, right? The 3rd feet, where should I keep? That's when Bali bows down, tells that you please place your 3rd feet over my head. That is the significance of Vamanavataram. 31, Bali Darpa Uchchedam. 30-31, continuation of Vamanavataram. Bali's Darpa, Bali's pride is bought or is destroyed completely, and Bali Maharaja is made the ruler of Sutala Desham. So the significance of Vamanavataram is all of us, we commit mistakes, right? But if we surrender to the Lord, if we ask for forgiveness, the Lord will definitely accept that and give us a higher place, like he did in the case of Mahabali. He gave him a place, he made him the ruler of Sutala Lokam. Dashakam 32, Matsya Avataram, form of Bhagavan in the form of Matsya. Dashakam 33, Ambarisha Charitam. Ambarisha, he does the Ekadashi Vratam. He wanted to break the same on Dwadashi. That's when Durvasa the Maharshis come there. And Durvasa gets angry because while they were getting fresh or so, the sages, Ambarisha ends up consuming a bit of water in order to, or some references, it is also Tulsi Patra, in order to break his fast. Durvasa Rishi gets very angry over this. But in order to safeguard his devotee, the Sudarshana Chakram is set out by the Lord. It runs behind Durvasa. Durvasa rushes to Brahmalokam, Shivalokam, Vaikuntham and so on. That's when Bhagavan says, you should go and ask for forgiveness to my Bhakta only. As soon as he falls at the feet of Ambarisha, the Sudarshana Chakram returns back to Vaikuntham. So the Lord will go to any extent in order to save his devotees and ensure that Bhakti is kept at the supreme. 34, 35, Ramayana Dashakams. 36, Parshurama Charitam, the shloka of Parshurama, that is there. Parshurama Avatara. 37, Krishna Avatara Prarambham or Balarama Avataram. 37 onwards, you have the beginning of the Krishna Leela stories that started. Usually, whenever we do a Sampurna Narayana Parayanam also, you have the break which is usually taken at this time. 38, very very auspicious, Krishna Avataram, wherein Bhagavan takes an avataram. Ananda Rupa Bhagavan Naidevatare Prapte Pradipta Bhavadanga Niriyamanaihi Kartivrajairi Vagana Ganamandalairdhyam Avrinvati Viruruche Kilavarshavela. 39, Yogamaya comes in. Now little here the order changes. Yogamaya usually comes after Balarama Avataram, that is when the 7th Garbham was there for Devaki, Balarama was transferred to Rohini's Garbham, another wife of Vasudeva. And that's when Yogamaya comes to replace that and warns Kamsa that Parashakti comes and warns Kamsa, saying that the avatara will definitely take place and your killer who's there has already taken his avataram. Finally, Krishna avataram takes place. Krishna Janma Utsavam, Dashakam 39 in Gokulam. After Vasudeva carries baby Krishna to Gokulam from Mathura, there is Utsava that is there here and there. Yashoda Devi and Nanda, late night Bhagavan was born at 12. Vasudeva very silently comes and replaces the child. They don't even know what child it is. Was it a girl child or a boy child? Because it was a Yogamaya who was there in the form of a girl child originally for Yashoda. But that's how Bhagavan was replaced there. Entire Gokulam celebrates the Janma of Bhagavan. 40 to 50 Dashakams that are there talks about the various Asuras who were killed by Bhagavan. Putana Mokshaha. Why it is even said as Mokshaha? Putana, this Asuri who was there, comes to kill Bhagavan, but she had an intent of a motherly feeling. She comes to give milk to Bhagavan. Keeping that in mind, Bhagavan sucks her life only and gives her a moksha. That is there. Putana Dehadaha Krishnalalanam, Dashakam 41. Putana's Deham that is there, after Bhagavan sucks out her entire life and she is killed, it seems that a good fragrance comes out due to the grace of Bhagavan and she is given moksham. Lalana Ahladam, meaning all the Gopikas who are there used to frequently come and visit Yashoda Devi's house in order to play with baby Krishna. Chakatasura Nigraham. Now Kamsa was not to sit silent. That's when he sends an asura in the form of a cart, Shakatasuram. Baby Krishna was kept on a cart. That's when that cart only turned out to be an asura. Dashakam 43, Trinavartavadam, in the form of a whirlwind. Bhagavan was put into the sky, it seems. Looking at all this, Yashoda Devi and Nanda were all totally afraid. That's when they decide to move to Vrindavanam. Dashakam 44, very very auspicious Dashakam again. Namakarma of the child is done. That's when Gargacharya is invited to do the Namakaranam of Bhagavan. Katamasya nama kurve sahasranam no anantanam no va iti nunam garga munish chakre tava nama nama rahasi vibho. Shloka 4, Dashakam 44. Gargacharya says, I don't know what nama should I keep for you. You have got Sahasranamam, Anantaramam, endless names. But Krishi Dhatuna, chant with the word Kr and Na, Nakarabhyam, something with Kr and Na together, Krishna. That's how he keeps the name for Bhagavan. Before that, Rama is the name which is kept for Krishnanamate Vyatanot. Rama is kept for Balarama. Dashakam 45, Bala Leela, the childhood stories of Bhagavan are described in Dashakam 45. How Bhagavan played in Gokulam with the fellow Gopikas who were there, how he spent his childhood. Everyone, they used to go to the Yamuna Nadi every time. There he used to spend a lot of time with his Gopas also, a lot of time with Gopikas who were there. So all this description is given in Dashakam 45 of Bala Leela. Now, there were a lot of pranks which were being done by Bhagavan, but all of them were considered to be a Leela only. Dashakam 46, Bhagavan ends up eating mud and gives the darshan of entire lokam to Yashoda Devi, Damodar Avataram. Dashakam 47 is actually Damodar Avataram, Ulukala Bandhanam. Yashoda Devi ties naughty Krishna to that mortar between both the trees. Dashakam 48, Nalakubera Manigrivayoho Shapamokshaha. Those two trees are actually the sons of Kubera, Nalakubera and Manigrivaha, who are given a curse to be born as trees. And when Bhagavan will pull the mortar and put the trees down, that's when both of them will attain moksha. Dashakam 49, finally Nanda Gopa, everyone decides that Gokulam is a very dangerous place to live in. Vrindavana Pravesham. We'll go to a safer place, Vrindavanam. Finally, Dashakam 50. But there also, Vrindavanam was also not freed from Asuras. You have Vatsasura, Bakasura who come in. Vatsasura, Vatsaha, the form of a small calf, an Asura comes in. Bakasura in the form of a crane, and Asura comes in. So, Vrindavanam was also not freed from Asuras. 51, Aghasura comes in. And here again you have Vanabhojanam that is done. So usually in Sampurna Parayanam you have the lunch break which is taken at this time. Now the significance of Vanabhojanam is when Krishna tells everyone, each one of his friends, each of the Gopas, to bring something from their houses, any food dish or so. Someone brings curd, someone brings curd rice, someone brings milk, someone brings fruits, and they all sit under the tree in the forest when they are out to graze cows or so in the afternoon time, and they share the food with everyone. The significance of this Vanabhojanam episode is to share whatever we have. Maybe not everyone is blessed with the best, but when you share everything and eat, there is Samatva Bhavam. And Bhagavan through this Leela tries to show that everyone in this earth is born equal. I myself being an Avatara Purusha also end up doing this business of sharing that is there. So therefore, you are no one, human beings, to compare and say you are great, I am small, and so on. Yeah. This is the significance of Vanabhojanam. Dashakam 52, Brahma Garvashamanam. Brahma at a certain point feels that he is only very powerful, he is a creator of this universe, and he does a small leela. What he does is, he hides the friends of Krishna, all the cattle of Krishna, inside a cave also. And Bhagavan is left all alone, he is searching for his friends all around. Later Bhagavan gets to know that this is a plot which is made by Brahma. What he does is, he ends up showing Brahma all his friends and cattle in Brahmalokam. So Brahma is surprised. He says, I have gone down to Bhulokam. There I hid all the friends and cattle of Krishna inside a cave. How come in Brahmalokam again I am seeing all of them? Again he goes down to Bhulokam. There he is surprised to see everyone there again. Again he goes to Brahmalokam. There also everyone is there. So Brahma is totally confused. Later he realizes that this is a Leela of Bhagavan for my Garvashamanam, to bring down my pride. He falls at the feet of Krishna, and all the friends, the Gopas, cattle of Krishna, everything is returned back to Bhagavan. 53, Dhenukasuravadam. Dhenukaha, an Asura comes in. 54, 55, you have Kaliya. Kaliya the snake comes in. Kaliya Vishabhaditanam Gogopanam Ujjivanam. All the people of Vrindavanam are caused a lot of trouble because Yamuna Nadi is polluted by Kaliya. 55, you have Kaliya Mardana. Atavarinigorataram bhaninam prativarayitum kritadir bhagavan rutamaritatiiragani patarum vishamaruta shoshita parnachayam. Kaliya Mardanam, Kaliya is killed. Let's not say even killed also. Mardanam, meaning Bhagavan dances on the hoods of Kaliya in order to bring down his pride again. But Kaliya again seeks for forgiveness. Bhagavan being Karunamurti, Kaliya Anugraham. 56, tells Kaliya very softly that along with your family, you please leave this Yamuna Nadi and go to another place also. And Kaliya leaves. Then you have Pralambasuravadam, which is done. Now Now Pralambasura Vadam is done by Balarama, not by Bhagavan. That is Dashakam 57. You have Pralambasura Vadam that is done. Ramasakaf Kwapi Dine. So the significance of Pralambasura Vadam is in the form of a Gopa or so. This Pralambasura comes in, and while playing a game, Lord Balarama very swiftly kills this Pralambasura, it seems. Dashakam 58, forest fire, Rituvarananamcha. A forest fire comes in and Bhagavan saves everyone from the forest fire they were in the forest area also. And that's when immediately everyone is transported to Vrindavanam through the divine Leela of Bhagavan. And in this chapter you also have Rituvarananam, the various seasons in Vrindavanam, that is also described here. Dashakam 59, Venugana Varnanam. Venugana Varnanam, Bhagavan starts playing the flute here, and all the gopikas who are there, they start falling in love with Bhagavan. Gopi Vastra Apaharanam. Dashakam 60, Bhagavan now starts doing his leelas more and more. Here is when the gopikas, they start doing the Katyayani Vratam in order to make Bhagavan as their husband. And while they were all taking a bath in the nearby river, Bhagavan steals all their clothes also and makes them come out of water and makes them beg for their clothes, and later he promises that all their wishes, desires will be fulfilled. Now why does Bhagavan do this Leela? We must not look at this with a very low aspect, saying that Bhagavan just stole the clothes of the gopikas. It was a very deeper aspect to this, that by stealing these clothes also, I'm actually stealing your minds, all the bhakti bhavam that is there, I'm taking away everything from you. That is the significance of this Gopi Vastra Apaharana. Dashakam 61, Viprapatni Anugraham. Viprapatni, they were all saints and sages. So they were actually a group of women who were great devotees of Krishna. Now all their husbands who were there, they were all believers of lot of rituals, and therefore they were not able to see Bhagavan. So he himself, the Lord himself, goes to meet those Brahmanas. Now the Gopa boys who are there, they go and request food, because the Brahmins for food also, Brahmins they drive the boys away, saying that now there is no food, nothing. But when those boys go and meet the wives of these Brahmanas, the Viprapatnis, they all give them food, and all those Viprapatnis come running to see Bhagavan. Now that's when Brahmins, they all realize the superiority of bhakti over rituals. Now it doesn't mean that we should not follow rituals also, but without having bhakti, you do anything, you do any kind of tapascharya that is there, it is waste, right? It's not only for spirituality, for anything. You do any normal work, we say work religiously, work devotedly. I know this, I know that, I know 10 things, but I don't do even a single thing properly, it's useless, right? So if bhakti or if that devotion is not there, everything becomes useless. Further, Dashakam 62, Govardhana Balihi. Govardhana Avataram, Bhagavan gets the name of Govinda here in the later Dashakams. Lord Krishna, he tells that why should we worship Indradeva? We should all worship this Govardhana Parvatam, which is providing for us from so long, food for the cows, for us and so on. And therefore that's when this act of Bhagavan angers Indra. He starts showering heavy rains. That's when Bhagavan Govardhana Uddharanam, he carries a Govardhana Parvatam for 7 days on his little finger and rescues all the people of Vrindavanam. Dashakam 64, Govinda Abhishekaha, Bhagavan gets the name of Govinda. 65, Gopinam Bhagavataha Sameepagamanam. Finally what happens is, in Dashakam 65, all the Gopikas who are there, they get prepared for the Rasa Leela, and the next 5 chapters that are there, right, from 65 till 70 also, is the Rasa Leela, wherein Bhagavan starts playing with his flute also, and he attracts all those Gopikas to come towards him. Dashakam 66, Gopijan Akladanam. 66 is when all the Gopikas, what they do is they start their day by Krishna only. And Krishna at this time advises each of the Gopikas that no doubt you are participating in this Rasa Leela, but you must also take care of your families too. Dashakam 67. Here what happens is, now all these Gopikas, they feel that we are all thinking of Bhagavan, therefore we are all very much superior. And they all feel that I am the greatest devotee of Bhagavan. Now in order to teach a lesson to these Gopikas and to bring down pride, Lord Krishna, what he does is, he leaves all the Gopikas alone with Radharani. Later, Radharani also has a little bit of pride in her. He leaves her also and goes away. Now that's when the Gopikas at this time, they keep searching for Bhagavan here and there. Finally, they realize that when pride comes in, the Lord leaves us. Let it be even Radharani herself, let it be Gopikas themselves. Pride later also, if it comes in, Bhagavan chooses to leave every one of us. Finally, when they become humble, Lord Krishna again appears in front of them. Dashakam 68, Gopikanam Parama Akladaha, or popularly the chapter which is called Gopika Geetam. Tava Vilokanath Krishna Gopika Jana Pramada Sankula Krishna Pankaje Kshana Amritadaraya Krishna Sampluta Iva Stimitatam Dadus Krishna Tvatpuro Gataha. The entire Gopika Geetam, how they describe to the Lord, how they call out to Bhagavan, that is described here. Rasa Krida, wherein Bhagavan assumes many forms, so many forms as much there are gopis also. Even gods, Narada, the rishis, everyone come to see this divine avataram, divine Rasa Krida, that is there. Kesha Pasha Dhrita Pinchika Vidati Sanchalan Makara Kundalam Harajalavana Malika Lalita Mangaraga Gana Saurabam Vita Chela Dhrita Kanchi Kanchita Mudanchadam Shumanino Puram Rasakeni Paribhushitam Tava Hirupami Shakalayamahe. Dashakam 70. With this Rasa Leela episodes come to an end. Dashakam 70 is when the curse of Sudarshana is freed off. You have killing of a person called Shankachuda and Arishta. Now, Sudarshana was also cursed to be born as a python, and this Shankachuda was actually a servant of Kubera, and Arishta came in the form of a bull. To all these people also Bhagavan gives moksha. Dashakam 71, you have Keshivadam. So many more asuras who are there, many more negative elements were killed by Bhagavan. Killing of Keshi and Vyomasura. Vyomasura comes as a Gopa boy. Keshi comes as a horse also. Dashakam 72, Akrura Agamanam. Akrura comes from Mathurapuri to give an invitation to Bhagavan to come to Mathurapuri for the Mushti Yuddham, that is there. Akrura, when he comes here, he's so much surprised to see the Leela of Bhagavan. This is a little bit sad portion of the Krishna Leela stories, because at this time, Yashoda Devi, she comes to know that Bhagavan is actually the son of Devaki. But never ever Bhagavan tries to show this to Yashoda. But you imagine the state of a mother who for so many years she longs for Bhagavan, and later someone comes and tells this is not your son also. And Bhagavan was to leave for Mathurapuri forever. So Yashoda Devi's sorrow here is described. And Yashoda Devi's affection for the child was so much, it seems that even though Krishna had grown up, stana from her breast also, milk used to overflow, it seems. Now these are all descriptions that are made to describe the love or affection which Yashoda Devi had for Bhagavan. Finally, Dashakam 73, Mathurapuri Yatra, the Lord decides to go to Mathurapuri Yatra. 74, Bhagavan enters Mathurapuri. There were a lot of people who were waiting patiently, including Devaki and Vasudeva. Now, in Mathura also, a lot of leelas were done by Bhagavan. A washerman is being killed. Then a weaver who is there, who presents him new clothes also, to that person he gives him a lot of rewards. Sairandri is a hunchbacked woman. She is cured of her hunch also, and she is given a very young form. And he also breaks the bow that is kept for a sacrifice. So like this, various leelas were done. Dashakam 75, Kamsavadam, finally Kamsa is killed by Bhagavan. Dashakam 76, Uddhava Dutyam. Finally Uddhava comes. Uddhava, childhood friend of Bhagavan. Now Uddhava, if you see, the nature of Uddhava was a bit philosophical. He used to believe in doing a lot of tapasya, this and that. That's when Bhagavan tells him that you go to Gopikas, go to Vrindavanam, you will know the actual bhakti that is there. Uddhava does not take Bhagavan very seriously, but later he ends up going to Vrindavanam and knows that he actually sends a message through Uddhava and telling that I have come from Vrindavanam, everyone there is sad, so you please go and console the Gopikas there. And at this time only Uddhava understands, Uddhava used to always feel these gopikas are just mad ladies also, just showing their affection on the Lord. But when he actually goes there, he sees the amount of bhakti that they have for the Lord. Dashakam 77. Jarasandha Yuddham cha. Jarasandha Yuddham upashloka utpattihi. Meaning, Lord Krishna, that Sairandri was that woman. A son was born through that Sairandri Upashloka. Further, Akrura was sent to know about the Pandavas also. Jarasandha, the army of Jarasandha was killed, and Kalayavana was killed by Muchukunda. So all these leelas were done in Dashakam 77. 78, 79, very very important Dashakams. You have Rukmini Haranam. Dwaraka Vasam, Bhagavan returns back to Dwaraka. Rukmini Devi sends the letter saying that she goes to the nearby temple to do the Katyayani Vratam, and she tells that I don't want to get married to Shishupala as told by my brother Rukmi. I want to be married only to you. The Sandesham is sent to Krishna. Krishna then comes, Dashakam 79, Rukmini Haranam. Further, Dashakam 80, Samantakopakyanam, Satyabhama Devi is married. You have Jambavati Kalyanam that also takes place. Dashakam 81, Kalindi Adi, the Ashtamahishis, the other chief queens of Bhagavan's Vivaham, that is described in Dashakam 81. You have the Parijata tree, Parijata Haranam, the divine tree of Parijatam from Swargalokam is bought by Bhagavan for Satyabhama Devi. Dashakam 82, Bana Banasura was a great devotee of Shiva. So that's the reason Vibhuti is offered as prasadam while we chant this Dashakam during the Parayanam that is there. And you also have Nriga. Now this story talks about the next generation of Krishna, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, son of Krishna, Aniruddha, grandson of Krishna. So here you also have the story of Usha, who is a daughter of Banasura. Usha, she falls in love with Aniruddha. That's how their Vivaham takes place. Here you have a very, you can say like a Leela or throw, a fight between Krishna and Shiva that takes place. But ultimately, Usha, why? Because Banasura does not want his daughter Usha to get married to Aniruddha. That's the reason he calls out to his lord, that is Shiva. Usha Devi, Aniruddha will call out to Krishna. That's how the battle takes place. Nrigamokshaha. Nriga, a king, is also given moksha here. Dashakam 83, Poundraka Vadam and Vivida Vadahacha. Again, a lot of negative elements are killed here. Poundraka Vadam. Now this Poundraka Vasudeva, he used to dress himself as Krishna only and claim himself to be Krishna. He was also killed by Bhagavan. Dashakam 84, what happens is, in Dashakam 84, Samantaka Panchakam. Now, here is where Krishna along with all the Gopikas and Radharani, they go to the waters of this Samantaka Panchakam. It is a yatra there, and he spends a few months in their company and returns back after consoling them through a lot of advice also. Dashakam 85, Jarasandha Vadam, Shishupala Vadam. 86, very very important, Dashakam 86, you have the Mahabharata Yuddham, that is described here, Dharma Yuddham. 87, you have Kuchelopakyanam, Kuchela Vritantam, wherein Sudama or Kuchela comes, the childhood friend of Bhagavan, comes to meet him. That's when Bhagavan blesses him with all kinds of riches that are there. 88, Santana Gopalam, for those who want children also, especially good children to be born to them. Santana Gopalam, this Dashakam is chanted, Dashakam 88. So, what is the significance is, as per the request of Devaki Devi, Krishna brings back from Sutala Lokam all her dead sons, all his dead siblings who are born before him. He also helps Arjuna to keep up his promise. Arjuna had made a promise to Brahmana by that I'll ensure that I'll save your son from death also. So he also takes him to Vaikuntham. So with this story, what happens is Dashakam 88, with this the end of this Dashakam, Krishna Avataram comes to an end as per Narayanam. Dashakam 89. Now last Dashakams that are there, they are a bit philosophical. You have the story of Vrikasura. Vrikasura is also called Bhasmasura. And you have Bhrigu Maharshi. The story of Bhrigu Maharshi, which takes place on the banks of river Saraswati. That's when Bhrigu Maharshi here, he ends up insulting or making Brahma and Shiva angry, but Vishnu does not get angry but treats the sage with hospitality. That's how Bhargavi, the daughter of Bhrigu, who is a form of Mahalakshmi, was given in marriage to Bhagavan. So that is described in this Dashakam 89. Now, further what happens is, last 10 Dashakams that are there, Dashakam 90 onwards, till 100, you have philosophical Dashakams. The greatness of Vishnu is told here. So the storytelling part that gets over, a lot of theories and philosophies are explained here. So the greatness of Vishnu Mahatvam is Dashakam 90. 91 is Bhakti Mahatvam, importance of devotion, without which there is nothing that is possible. Dashakam 92, Karma Mishra Bhakti. Just having bhakti alone will not help. You must do some kind of karma, right? I have lot of devotion, but you need to show that by doing some karma, some action, maybe chanting the names of the Lord, doing worship, doing puja di karma, singing. So some action is needed. So karma mishra bhakti. Further, Dashakam 93, Chaturvimshati Guravaha, Dattatreya, form of Bhagavan, talks about 24 gurus in nature, like earth, a small girl, pigeon also, from whom we can learn various things that are there, Akasham, water, and so on. That is the description of Chaturvimshati Guravaha. 94, Tattvajnanam, Tattvajnana Utpattihi. Now what is Tattvajnanam is, many times just having bhakti alone, just having doing good actions alone is not needed. At times we must also have proper knowledge, right? Without that, without knowing the Tattvajnanam, things will not become, we will not be able to do things properly. Therefore, one must always surrender to the feet of a guru so that we get proper Tattvajnanam in order to attain Bhagavan. Dashakam 95, Dhyana Yoga. So you see, Bhattatri slowly goes about. First have bhakti, then do some karma, then know about Tattvajnanam, then finally you should do Dhyana Yogam and so on. So the ways of meditation are described. Dashakam 96, you have mix of both. God is everywhere, but he is more in certain places also, like temples and so on. Jnana Karma Bhakti Yoga. So the description of all three is given in Dashakam 96. 97, the story of Markandeya, the Ashtama. Chiranjeevi. That story of Markandeya is told here, and how a proper prayer should be there for bhakti, how proper prayer should be made in order to increase devotion also. Like Bhattatri says, I must always keep my mind on you. So these are all concluding Dashakams that are there. Everyone should be treated equally. Your temple, the prayers that are offered to you, oh Lord, I should always be there in such places only. So all this Bhattatri describes in 97. 98, Nishkala Brahma Upasanam, or the Namaskara Dashakam, that is said, meaning everything that I do is like a meditation on you only. Oh Lord, I surrender everything to you. Krishna Tasmai Namaste. Towards the end of every Dashakam, this comes in. Dashakam 99, Vedastuti, description of Bhagavan or the prayer of the Vedas. So each of these shlokas in Dashakam 99 have the quotation from the Vedas. Dashakam 100, Agre Pashyami Tejo. Finally, Bhattatri gets a darshanam of the Lord. 99 days he is suffering. Now Dashakam 1 and Dashakam 100, what is the difference? It is a form, or it is the significance of Bhagavan only. But Dashakam 1 is the imagination of Bhattatri. Dashakam 100 is the actual darshanam of Bhattatri. So this is the entire gist of Narayanam. We will chant Dashakam 100 and then we will conclude. Om Agre Pashyami Tejo Nibidatarkala Yavali Lobaniyam Piyoshaplavitoham Tadanu Tadudare Divyakai Shoravesham Tarunyarambarampyam Rambaramyam Paramasukarasa Swadaro Manchitangai Avitam Naradadyai Vilasadupanishad Sundari Mandalaischa Nilabam Kunchitagram Ganamamalataram Samyatam Charubangya Ratnotam Sabiramam Palayitamudaya Chandrakai Pinchajalai Mandarasragnivitam Tava Pritukabari Paramalokayeham Snigdashvetordapundram Apicha Sulalita Bhalabalenduvitim हृद्यं पूर्णानुकम्पार्णवमृदुलहरी चञ्चलभ्रूविलासैः आनीलस्निग्धपक्ष्मावलिपरिलसितं नेत्रयुग्मं विभोते सान्द्रच्छायं विशाला रुडकमलदला कारमामुग्धतारं कारुण्यालोकलीला शिशिरितभुवनं क्षिप्यतां मय्यनाथे उत्तुङ्गोल्लासिनासं हरिमणिमुकुर प्रोल्लसद्गण्डपाली व्यालोलत्कर्णपाशाञ्चितमकरमणि कुण्डलद्वन्द्वदीप्रम् उन्मीलद्दन्तपङ्क्ति स्फुरदरुणतर छायबिम्बादरान्तः प्रीते प्रस्यन्ति मन्दस्मितमधुरतरं वक्त्रमोद्भासतां मे बाहुद्वन्द्वेन रत्नोज्ज्वलवलयभृता शोणपाणिप्रवाले नोपातां वेणुनालीं प्रसृतनखमयो काङ्गुली सङ्गसारा कृत्वा वक्त्रारविन्दे सुमधुरविलसद्रागमुद्भाव्यमानैः शब्दब्रह्मामृतैः स्वं शिशिरितभुवनैः सिञ्च मे कर्णवीथिम् उत्सर्पत्कौस्तुभश्री ततिभिररुणितं कोमलं कण्ठदेशं वक्षश्रीवत्सरम्यं तरलतरसमोद्दीप्रहारप्रधानम् नानावर्णप्रसूनावलिकिसनयिनीं अन्यमालां विलोलल् लोलम्बां लम्बमानामुरसितवदता भावये रत्नमालाम् अङ्गे पञ्चाङ्गरागैर् अतिशयविकसत् सौरभाकृष्टलोकं लीनानेकत्रिलोकी विततिमपि कृशां बिभ्रतं मध्यवल्ली शक्राश्मन्यस्ततप्तोज्ज्वल कनकनिभं पीतचेलं ददानं ध्यायामो दीप्तरश्मि स्फुटमणिरशना किङ्किणी मण्डितं त्वाम् ऊरू चारू तवोरू घनमसृणरुचो चित्तचोरौरमायाः विश्वक्षोभं विशङ्क्य ध्रुवनिशमुवौ पीतचेलावृताङ्गौ अनम्राणापुरस्तान्यसनधृतसमस्तार्तपाली समुद्ग छायं जानुद्वयञ्च क्रमपृतुनमनोज्ञे च जङ्गे निषेवे मञ्जीरं मञ्जुनादैरिव पदभजनं श्रेय इत्यालपन्तं पादाग्रं भान्ति भ्रान्तिमज्जत्रणतजनमनो मन्दरोदारकूर्मम् उत्तुङ्गाताभ्रराजन्नकरहिमकर ज्योत्स्नया चाश्रितानां सतापद्वान्तहन्त्रीं तदिमनुकलये मङ्गलामङ्गुलीनां योगीन्द्राणां त्वदङ्गेष्वधिकसुमधुरं मुक्तिभाजां निवासो भक्तानां कामवर्षद्युतरुकिसलयं नादते पादमूलं नित्यं चित्तस्थितं मे पवनपुरपते कृष्णकारुण्यसिन्धो ऋत्वा निश्शेषतापान् प्रदिशतु परमा नन्दसन्दोहलक्ष्मीम् अज्ञात्वा ते महत्त्वं यदिह निगदितं विश्वनाथक्षमेताः स्तोत्रं चैतत्सहस्रोत्तरमधिकतरं त्वत्प्रसादाय भूयात् द्वेधा नारायणीयं श्रुतिषु च जनुषा स्तुत्यथा वर्णनेन स्फीतं लीलावतारैरिदमिह कुरुतामायुरारोग्यसौख्यम् सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदेभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तथावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे अन्तभाग्यं जनानां सर्वत्र गोविन्दनाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द नारायणाखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते कृष्ण भगवान की जय।